Tell the world what world leaders said to Israel about Gaza. They condemned the slaughter. They called it genocide. They called it barbarity. And then they did nothing. Tell the world what the Pope said about Gaza. Pope Leo XIV called it barbarity after Israeli forces bombed Gaza's only Catholic church, killing civilians seeking refuge. Tell the world what the UN said about Gaza. The UN Secretary General said children in Gaza want to go to heaven, not for faith, but for food. UNICEF said Gaza feels like a coffin for children. UNRWA called Gaza a graveyard for children. Tell the world what genocide scholars said about Gaza. Over 150 genocide scholars, including Holocaust experts, signed statements calling Israel's actions genocide. Harvard, Boston University, and the University of Chicago published reports detailing the legal case. Tell the world what Amnesty and others said about Gaza. Amnesty International said Israel is committing genocide. Human Rights Watch said Israel is deliberately starving civilians. Oxfam said starvation is being used as a weapon of war. Tell the world what terrible things Israeli leaders said about Gaza, including Netanyahu. Israeli Minister Amichai Eliyahu said, all Gaza will be Jewish. Israeli journalists called for Gaza to be a slaughterhouse. Netanyahu praised Trump's plan to displace Palestinians from Gaza. Tell the world what ex-Israeli leaders said about Gaza. Former officials admitted this is not defense, it's extermination. Even ex-generals warned that Israel is losing its soul. Tell the world 82% of Jewish Israelis support the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians from Gaza, and 47% support the killing of all Palestinians in Gaza. Tell the world about the so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. It's a PR scam. Aid sites once numbered 400. Now there are just 4. Over 1,000 Palestinians have been slaughtered while trying to get food. It's a killing field, a death trap. Tell the world about the over 70,000 killings of Palestinians by the Israeli military in Gaza. 70,000 lives, 20,000 children. Each one with a name, a face, a future, erased. Tell the world this is a war on children. Over 4,000 Palestinian children have lost one limb as a result of the Israeli military's use of bombs in densely populated areas. UNICEF says 90% of Gaza's children are starving. Babies are dying in their mother's arms. Children are eating grass and leaves to survive. Tell the world there used to be 400 aid distribution sites in Gaza. Now it's down to just 4. That's not logistics. That's a starvation policy. Tell the world 9,000 trucks are filled with aid, but are being held at crossing points by the Israeli military because they want to starve the Palestinians to death. The trucks are ready, the food is waiting, but Israel won't let them in. Tell the world the new aid airdrop is a joke, a PR scam. If they cared, they'd let the trucks roll. They'd let the UN feed the children. Tell the world how the Israeli military is removing baby formulas from visiting foreign medical doctors' bags and suitcases before they can enter Gaza. Doctors tried to bring in baby formula. Israeli soldiers threw them away. Tell the world babies are starving to death because there are no baby formulas. They die quietly now, too weak to cry. Tell the world how the Western media reports the story of Gaza and compare how they report the story of Ukraine. Ukraine gets heroes. Gaza gets silence. European children get names. Palestinian children get numbers. Tell the world what Israel is doing to the Palestinians in Gaza is what the Nazis did to them, but worse. Because this time the world knows and still watches. Tell the world Israel is becoming Nazis. They use the same language. They commit the same crimes. They wear the same silence. Tell the world what Congressman Randy Fine said about Gaza, which was never condemned but instead was promoted. He called for Gaza to be nuked. He compared Palestinians to Nazis and animals and wants them starve away. He mocked the deaths of Palestinian children. Despite this, he was appointed to the House Foreign Affairs Committee, increasing his influence on U.S. policy. Tell the world what was done to Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. She cried for her people. She was censured. She was punished for grief. Tell the world about Speaker Mike Johnson and his faith, and question his faith. He quotes the Bible, then signs off on bombs. What kind of God does he follow? Jesus Christ or the Nazis' God? Tell the world about the silence of the Western government as they look the other way, as Israel slaughters and starves Palestinians to death. They know, they watch, they condemn, they do nothing. Now they want to recognize the state of Palestine, but recognition of Palestine won't feed the people, nor will it stop the famine and starvation in Gaza. They must stop the death, famine, and starvation. Tell the world what they would do if 20,000 European children were slaughtered and starved by a radical, savage, and barbaric government. The trucks would move, the skies would scream, the churches would cry. Tell the world how the Western media would likely report the story. They'd show faces, they'd tell stories, they'd demand justice. Tell the world how President Trump is looking the other way when it comes to Gaza. Instead, he is praising Netanyahu. He calls Netanyahu a hero while children die. Tell the world that Netanyahu is a war criminal. Tell the world about President Trump's faith, how he says he is a Christian and pro-life, but does nothing to stop the slaughter of 20,000 children. He does nothing to stop their famine and starvation. Today, he is playing golf in Scotland. He says he's pro-life, he's golfing in Scotland. While babies starve, ask him what kind of God he believes in, a Christian God, Jesus Christ, or the Nazis' God. Because Jesus fed the hungry, the Nazis starved them. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I'm Aston Collins.